there aren't any snakes in Ireland because of St. Patrick. And when I asked him about that, he said, well, we're bringing the snakes back.
Well, my favorite thing about that story is snakes is code for pagans, and pagans is code for anyone who wasn't a Christian.
Well, guess what? Irish Halloweens are back, baby.
Your brother's been waving Christians around at the...
Yeah, he's been waving Christians around just to get revenge.
Not Christians, I meant pagans. Wait.
Oh,
Can we start? Let's start this bit again. Okay, from the top. Hello, I'm John.
Mr. Hurt, I'm so happy to have you on the show. Thank you for
my pleasure. What an absolute joy.
Oh, it's an absolute joy for me too. I really, really loved your work in why am I blanking on anything? Oh, as the war doctor. There you go.
Spaceballs, briefly.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was in Spaceballs, and that's the only film I've ever been in.
Now that you're back from the dead, though,
yes.
John Hurt, are you going to be in Spaceballs too?
Oh heavens, no! They wrote me out. Unfortunately, I was in an earlier draft, you see, but Mel Brooks and I had a huge falling out during production of Robin Hood Men in Tights. You see, I was originally cast to play Blinken, and I had to step away from the set to yell at a passing car. Mel Brooks said, "You have to be on set, Jonathan." And I said, "Don't call me Jonathan, you son of a bitch." It came to blows.
I can't, I'm not surprised that happened, and I'm so sorry. I try to respect you. If I were directing you, Jonathan, I would. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. He punished me by firing me from Men in Tights, but I got him back by sabotaging the script for Dracula Dead and Loving It. What a stinker I made that film
that was
become.
you.
Yes, his original script is a masterpiece. Better than Blazing Saddles, and no one will ever see it.
Oh, I see. Wow, such clever subterfuge, my friend.
Yes, I'm a devious bastard. I faked my own death to hide the secret of Dracula Dead and Loving It.
So you were hanging out with Elvis Presley and D.B. Cooper then?
Yes. Who do you think paid to slip me in to destroy the script? D.B. Cooper and I go way back.
That's great. By the way, off mic, I should mention, and I think this first time anyone's hearing, Mr. Hurt revealed to me that D.B. Cooper's been Tommy Wiseau the whole time. So
it's Tommy Wiseau. Yes, I recognize the face anywhere. I said to him at a convention, I said, "Tommy, wink. What the hell are you doing?" And he said, well, he didn't so much say anything as he tried to get me to buy a pair of Tommy Wiseau branded underpants.
Some people, they have some unique branding, and that's a pretty unique brand of underpants.
What an exceptionally odd duck that man is.
Well, he always was. Let's be honest. I appreciate what he does, though. We all can.
You have to appreciate a man whose exit strategy is, "Oops, I guess I'm going to have to jump." It's like it's him and Danger-esque.
Yeah, I remember when Tommy was cast in Danger-esque 5, so it was an interesting casting choice. But I gotta hand it to the brothers Chaps and Strong Bad. They.
Yes.
I'm surprised you're a fan of that particular franchise.
I'm a huge fan of the HomestarRunner.com. It's one of my favorite internet websites.
I thought it was HomestarRunner.net.
It's .com.
Thank you. Welcome to Undercooked Analysis, the show.
That went on for way too long.
It did, but that's perfect.
I'm gonna feel that in my throat in the morning. I am not a professionally trained voice actor.
I did,
that voice is gravelly.
You could have fooled me because honestly, I didn't know how long we were going to keep that bit going, and really that was you were the one who decided to channel the ghost of John Hurt. So
yes, the pain moves through us all, and for some of us, it hurts more than others. Hey, whoa! Oh no!
Wow! Whoa!
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, they even bring their own Foley, which I genuinely appreciate.
I'm very good
making dumb noises with my entire mouth. I do one other impression other than John Hurt, and it's Pac-Man.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if I can do it immediately after doing John Hurt. Let's find out.
Give yourself.
That's not bad. There you go. I made
it. That was actually pretty good. That was. I appreciate that.
It's almost the same like mouth configuration. If you are a beatboxer or someone who does like record scratches, if you like that kind of it's very similar to the it's the same.
It's almost like
vocal apparatus. It's just doing different stuff with your mouth.
It's somewhere between the beatboxer sound and like cutting off a Tim Allen grunt, like that.
Yeah. Do you want to hear a really bad joke?
This show is a really bad joke, so go ahead.
Cool. Let's add to the pile. What did the DJ name his son?
What's that?
Eric.
Okay, that wasn't so bad. I mean, it got a chuckle out of me.
You got a chuckle out of you, but every one of your listeners is unsubscribing from the feed as we speak.
Oh, look, I've learned something very important in my time. If anyone younger than like Gen Z who's listening to this podcast, if they roll their eyes, you gotta laugh out at them. That's just,
I'll take it. Hey,
yeah, that's
reaction's a reaction.
Indeed. Well, in case those of you who are listening don't know what's going on here, we're here for the Halloween episode of Undercooked Analysis, and And the usual suspects could not be here tonight, but I am very fortunate to have returning to the show after a long time, special guest, my friend and yours, Ben Paddon.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, it's been a while. But you've been pretty busy though, because like I know you've been working very hard to get the next season of your audio drama off the ground. And anybody who's listened to the show for a while knows how much I care about audio drama, and the more I can promote it, the more shamelessly, especially among people I know, the more I want to do that. And Midnight Marinara may be dead and buried, but I still care about audio drama. And I'm burying the lead a lot here. Ben, you're getting Jump Lead Season 2 off the ground soon.
Jump Lead Season 2, yeah. The first episode drops October 31st. That's the first episode of Season 2. We did a season, our first season of 6 episodes back in 2023. We are back way too late with the second season. I wanted to do it last year, and various things got in the way of that. And then this year's been hell.
Yep.
But if for those of you who don't know, Jump Leads is a sci-fi comedy audio drama. It is about 2 trainees and a kind of self-appointed reality police who, in their first field training exercise, things go a little bit awry. And so each episode has them jumping into a new parallel universe in a broken down dimensional jumping ship as they try to find their way back to their home universe. So it's a little bit Doctor Who, it's a little bit Sliders, if you're familiar with your 90s sci-fi. It's been very favorably compared to things like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Red Dwarf, and one listener compared it to Star Trek Lower Decks, which made my heart swell because that's one of my favorite sci-fi comedies of the last 5-6 years. Yeah.
Luckily, no one's compared it to Quantum Leap, right?
No one has. I've compared it to Quantum Leap in that it is also science fiction. That's basically the point of comparison.
That's fair. Luckily, your show does not have Scott Bakula in it, so that's good.
Listen, hey, if I could get Scott Bakula on the show, I would have him on in a heartbeat. I love Quantum Leap. My wife would be upset. She's convinced that every time she learns something new about Quantum Leap, her life gets measurably worse.
Oh no.
In that something bad happens to, at, or around her. And she's married to someone, me, who loves Quantum Leap and has all of it. I have all of it on Blu-ray, including the reboot series. I love that show.
I hope that's not just because, that your wife hasn't been inhabited by Scott Bakula the whole time. That would be very terrible.
I mean, that would be ironic. She has to say she hates Quantum Leap or it would blow her cover.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Can't watch Quantum Leap because then she'll have Nam flashbacks.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, that's got to be trippy. But I mean, could you imagine a Quantum Leap episode that got that like meta? That would be.
I mean, season one of Jump Leads, I did a Sliders parody. Sliders was also a huge influence on Jump Leads, and we did a whole episode that parodied Sliders and kind of affectionately poked fun at that show. That show was just a mainstay of my childhood. I loved Sliders so much. And Quantum Leap, they were both like that. Those two, like Sliders, Quantum Leap, Star Trek: The Next Generation. and Doctor Who were like the background radiation of my childhood, and that's very, very apparent in Jump Leads if you listen to it.
And that's fantastic. And I want to speak for myself too when I say I really, really enjoyed the first season. And I wish there was more stuff like that. And I've tried to, where I can, I try to promote audio drama that has, and I really should be more proactive about this anyway, but hey, this is my opportunity to do so. And I'm glad to have you here on the show to talk about it a little bit. Hopefully we can get some folks to go listen to it. Bias thing. This is literally me being excited for season 2 and have been waiting for season 2 for a while. So this is
have
awesome.
I. Like, wow. I started writing it last summer and very naively thought we could have it out by Christmas. And that did not happen, but we got it done this year. It would have happened a lot earlier this year as well, but some personal things this year. My sister unfortunately passed away about 6 months ago. The reason I mentioned that is that one of the last things she got to do before she passed away, very unexpectedly, we weren't expecting her to go, but she has a cameo in one of the episodes of Jump Leads. So she's part of the fabric of this show now. She's very much part of the show, and finishing season 2 and getting her performance out there as well. Was very important to me. But yeah, it's season 2 is just for people. I know that a lot of audio dramas are very serialized, and I love that. I love serialized drama. Jump Leads is broadly speaking very standalone. With season 1, we did have a finale that tied in elements from previous episodes and kind of pulled everything together. We've kind of done that with season 2. Season 2 has a little bit more serialization. So the first 3 episodes form like a loose. They're still standalone adventures, but they form kind of a loose trilogy, kind of following on from the events of season 1. We have 2 characters, Meanie, who is kind of this young, wide-eyed, career-minded, excitable, maybe a little easily distracted young woman who has wanted to be a member of this reality jumping organization since she was a child. And we have my character, who I play, who's a character called Llewellyn. And he signed up because he had nothing better to do. Never completed basic training. So you have this kind of wide-eyed enthusiast and this kind of apathetic cynic, and how their personalities clash. And where we end the first season, Meanie isn't entirely sure she can trust Llewellyn. And so that kind of builds over the first few episodes of season 2 without spoiling anything. I don't think that's a spoiler. But how that builds to a head, and then how that informs the back half of the season, the second set of 3 episodes. This whole season, it kind of is, I think, some of my best writing, not to brag, but I'm really proud of the writing. I'm really proud of the way it came together. The cast is bonkers. The people that we got to sign up to do this thing, because they like working with our friend Dino Andrade, who is a producer on the show, and B, because they genuinely like the scripts. Like, I've spoken to people who said they wouldn't have done this if it weren't for Dino and if they didn't like the script. And everyone who came on board had nothing but nice things to say about my writing, and they were not paid to say so. So it's very exciting. I'm very excited.
That's good. And I also want to shout out Dino as well. Dino was kind enough to lend his voice to a couple of Midnight Marinera projects, as did Connor. So
Connor's great. Connor had a cameo in the first season. We couldn't afford him for season 2.
Connor played a part in the very last episode of Midnight Marinera I produced. So and
awesome.
Dino, and Dino played Hans von Ripper in our adaptation of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So
fantastic.
It was I'm not surprised when people found out that that people who know Dino wanted to be involved. So that's Dino is a wonderful human being, and I can't praise him enough. So
He's just the biggest heart, just the nicest person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so good. And also this season we're a SAG-AFTRA project this season. We are a SAG-AFTRA micro budget podcast, which is how we were able to get some of the names that we have. Like, there are people who, if it wasn't a SAG project, we wouldn't be able to get. People like Debbie Derryberry and Gray Delisle, who would just came on board and were both of them as well, both instrumental in getting us that SAG-AFTRA positioning. Like, they were really, really helpful both on the mic and behind the scenes, and that really, meant a lot to us.
That's so cool. You were giving me the rundown off mic, or on Dregs about sort of your cast gets. For anybody who wants to listen to Dregs and hear a bit about that, yeah, it's a good deal. So Jump Leads season 2. This has been our shameless promotion for that. But yeah,
find it in your podcasting app or go to audio.jumpleads.zone. I'm very, very proud. I'm proud of season 1. I'm so proud of season 2. I can't wait for you to hear it. If you are a Doctor Who fan, if you've listened to any of the Big Finish Doctor Who audios, that was a big influence on me as well. The original Hitchhiker's Guide radio drama, big influence. I've tried to capture the energy of stuff like Red Dwarf, in terms of like the tone of the comedy, but the sci-fi I try to keep it. I try to think, would this make a good Doctor Who story? And if not, can I make it funny? So yeah, I'm very proud of the season. Please check it out, or I will cry.
Please don't make Ben cry.
I'm not a pretty crier.
I mean, have you heard their Fnarg cry?
Oh, Fnarg! Yeah. Oh God! Like what, episode 2 or 3 of the game of Rassilon?
Yep.
That moment broke Riley when we were recording that.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to edit that, and it broke me too when I was doing it. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Hell
but
yeah.
But let's get, because at this point I'm sure some people are doing the whole Monty Python get on with it. So we'll get on
with it.
Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it.
So we're gonna get on with it. So I have a good get. This is actually a perfect entry for our Halloween episode, because we have a story that has been sent to us by Dartmouth and Friends, who, just to refresh people's memory, won our Disney Pasta Writing Challenge way back in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there was kind of a big deal. They won with the story, The New Mickey Mouse Club Member. And recently they sent me a story that they have asked me to read and critique on the show. And when they described the story in the body of the email, I went, oh, it's a Halloween story. Okay, this is great. It also looks pretty short, so I'm actually okay with having the big front end of the episode be what it is, because I don't know how long we're going to be here. Because it is a nice, it doesn't seem like it's going to overstay its welcome, but the story is called Raggedy Bill, and I think it's going to be interesting. It looks like there's a couple of different parts because it seems to be an interview.
It does look like it's a two-hander.
So I was going to offer, would you be willing to play the interviewee, or the interviewer, and I can do the interviewee?
That sounds good.
Okay. So without further ado, huh?
I said, that sounds good. Let's get into it. Let's do it.
Perfect. All right. So without further ado, we present Raggedy Bill as told by Dartmouth and Friends.
The following is an excerpt from the transcript of a conversation we had with a senior gentleman, aged 96, at the Ashton Hall Senior Living Facility, who has requested to remain anonymous. He will be referred to in the transcript as A. We will refer to ourselves as DF. Before this conversation, he had mentioned to us that he hated Halloween because of something that happened when he was a young teen in his village in the swamps of the South. After we had asked some simple questions about life back then, we got to the real heart of the conversation.
I just realized, am I going to have to do an old Southern drawl for this?
Well, your old Southern drawl would be better than my old Southern drawl.
That's fair.
That is fair, unless you want like south of England Southern drawl. So, but yeah, just for context then, what is a south of England Southern drawl sound like? Here's the thing, I don't remember. The North's easy. I had a lot of family from the North, and I have a lot of friends and family in the Midlands. I couldn't tell you what people from down south are supposed to sound like. I suppose I would probably just do Cockney, if we're being honest.
Well, South London, right?
Yeah, south of London. Sorry, mate, don't go south of the river. All right, okay.
What you have to understand about 1943 is that everyone was desperately afraid.
Of course.
The war was reaching a fever pitch, you know. And in my little village, we didn't really get much news, so we were even more afraid. All we really knew was that most of our men were out in Europe or in the Pacific fighting. Those who weren't 4F, anyway. That's Army for unfit for service. Tommy Boulder, with his blind left eye, for instance, he couldn't go. Neither could a few others. For those who did go, their families didn't get much word.
You didn't get much news in the swamps? No radio, no letters?
We got bullfrog telegrams is what we got. No. No one could really afford one in those parts. No, excuse me. No one could really afford one or the parts to make one. We got most of our news when someone would come back from the nearby town.
Which town was that? Sorry for interrupting.
I think I've told you. I'd rather not say.
That's right. Forgive me.
Anyway, we didn't get many letters because the post office was so far out. My big brother and Papa were both gone. Papa was captured in Germany. I don't quite remember where, and Linus was in Hawaii. It was just Mama and me and Cynthia at home, and I wasn't much help with the crops because of my arm.
Here, he gestured to his left arm, which is withered. He mentioned prior to this conversation that he was born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline. No.
Maybe. Horrible.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
I'm just wretched. Just terrible. Was there anything that helped with that fear?
A really dumb joke. That's what helped. No. Well, there were little things. The letters we did get were comforting, I suppose. Papa wasn't hurt when he got shot down and caught. Linus had been given some sort of desk job, so he wasn't there where all the bombs were flying. But you could tell that the grown-ups in the village were on a sort of consistent alert for bad news or something like it. They didn't like us kids going out at night. We used to go out at twilight and catch fireflies or frogs in the swamps, but once the war started, they wanted us inside unless we were in the fields.
Why do you think that was?
Well, none of us really knew then, but I know.
It's here that A started to seem like he was losing his nerve. We got him a drink of water.
Oh, thanks. Excuse me. It does take a bit to get out of that. All right.
Yeah, I'm still feeling the hoarseness from the John Hurt earlier today.
Remember, Scrooge, you brought this on yourself.
Why don't you shut up? Why don't you tell us a bit about? Why don't you tell us a bit about the Halloween of that year? You said something happened that night.
Yeah, it did. Well, Halloween was a bit different back then than it is now, with the plastic costume pieces and all the store-bought candy and all that. A lot less treat, a lot more trick. At least it was that way before the war. Before the war, we'd get all gussied up in homemade costumes and just run wild around the village. Once the war started, it sort of changed. Because of the sugar shortage, not so much candy. In our village, it was particularly different. We still had the costume parties every year, but with all the kids gathered in one house and most of the grown-ups would go, well, they had other business. That year was my house.
Here, A took a sip of his water with his hand shaking. Go on, it's okay.
Well, I was 14 that year. Thought I was too grown up for the kids' party. You know how it is with teenagers. There I was watching the kids bob for apples and pin tails on donkeys and I don't know what else, and bored out of my skull. The other boys my age were still excited about the party. They joined in. After a while, I happened to look out the window. I saw a small crowd of grown-ups. Miss Finney, the lady who ran the little store. Old Reverend Krabus. They were walking up the road towards where it led to the swamps. Some had lanterns. Few had torches.
So you decided to follow them?
I decided to follow them. Mama was so busy with the party. Cynthia was raising Cain about the same, some boy spilling punch on a costume. It was easy to slip out. I took the lantern from beside the back door and lit out after the grown-ups.
About what time was this? Twilight? After dark?
It was getting towards dark. I followed them for a long time. They went deeper into the swamps. I knew the swamps pretty well when I was young. Like I said, they used to let us play in them, long as it was light. But this was different. It felt different in the dark. No fireflies either. I remember that. Usually there were lots.
What did you think the grown-ups were up to?
I was thinking it was odd that at 14 I was still calling them grown-ups, but fair enough. Got to insert some criticism here. No, I'm just messing. Forget about it. Well, when I first saw them, I thought maybe it was some sort of party of their own. Maybe they went to the swamps and did something more exciting than what was going on at the kids' party. That was why I followed. But as I did, I noticed they were talking in hushed voices. As we got to the darker part of the swamps, they weren't talking at all.
Then what happened? A took a moment here and looked out of the window before looking back at us.
Well, they stopped in some sort of clearing. Lots of trees with their branches hanging down. Willows, Spanish moss. It made it look like a big room with curtains for walls. I hid beside one of the trees and put out my lantern so they wouldn't see me. It was quiet. So quiet. Be careful, it's a trap. Use bombs wisely. No, sorry. Not even crickets or frogs chirping. Then Mr. Reynard stepped out. Mr. Reynard was sort of the village leader. Preached some Sundays in the little church that was when the Reverend was sick. Solved disputes. People looked up to him. Anyway, he stepped out in front of the group with a lantern, and he said, "Bill? Raggedy Bill? Are you there?"
Raggedy Bill, was that someone else in the village? A didn't answer at first. We had to repeat the question before he would.
No.
Someone from the town, then?
No.
A took another sip of his water here.
A minute or two passed. Then he came up. Slow.
You mean he came out? Raggedy Bill?
No. Up. Came up out of the swamp. Came up slow. Looked like a man, sort of. Like a thin, tall man. Like a big, wet scarecrow in a tattered old gray uniform. With a head made of a burlap sack stuffed with, I don't know what. Moss and weeds hanging off him.
A scarecrow?
Yeah, I could see two little white spots where eyes should have been. Glowing, a mouth ripped open, slow. I could hear the threads in the burlap pop. Mouth glowed, too.
What happened then?
His voice, a husky gurgle. It sounded like someone trying to talk through a mouthful of water, but I understood him. "I'm here," he said. "I'm here. Did you bring me what's due? Did you bring some company for old Bill?"
And then?
"We brought you what's due, Bill," Renard said. We brought you another who can't fight. You keep our deal. Keep our men safe out there."
What did he mean by that?
I'm getting to it.
A sat in thought for a moment, seemed to be steeling himself.
I'm suddenly like, what if I was, I actually am trying, this is, I gotta say, I'm, maybe it's just because I'm having fun doing the voice, but I'm enjoying this so far.
This is great. I'm having a great time with this. Yeah, I'm loving the energy and the vibe of this, the way it feels kind of like a kind of a slow build. I love stories like this where it's someone recounting something that has already happened and you know it's building towards something. So that you have that anticipation, and this is all very, very eminently anticipable. Is that the word? I don't care. I'm having a great time anticipating it all.
Ditto. Like this is fun. And the build up to it is good. Like the pacing feels really good in this. So
For sure.
And it's earned this for me. So this is cool. It would have been silly if we'd gotten the scarecrow right away. But again, this is Dartmouth and Friends. They know what they're talking about. So
hell yeah.
So yeah, here we go.
That was when they brought out Tommy. 18-year-old Tommy Bauer with the blind left eye he'd had since birth. Tommy who couldn't go and fight. He looked dazed. Someone had given him too much to drink or a shot of morphine. He swayed a bit, just standing there. Then he started to sink, slow, like he was falling through molasses. He didn't make a sound at first, but I guess whatever it was they gave him wore off because he started crying. Pleading, started clawing at the ground when he reached his chest, trying to pull himself out, hollering until the mud filled his mouth. They all just stood there, no movement to help him, no change in their faces, calm as a morning in church. Then he was gone. No one moved for a minute. Not Mr. Renard, not the other grown-ups, not that raggedy man. Then he spoke again. The same deal as always. Year from now, and the year after, As long as war's being fought and your boys is fighting, you come bringing company for old Raggedy Bill. He started laughing. A sick, wet, strangled sort of laugh. He sank back down into the swamp.
We sat in silence for a few moments. Is that why you ran away from home?
Of course it is. Oh, I went home right after I saw all that, but I didn't dare say nothing. Not to Mama, not to Cynthia. I didn't know if Mama already knew, and I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know. I kept it to myself. Thought it was safer that way. Thought I'd be safer that way. Didn't go to the swamp anymore at all, but as 1 year turned to 2, war wasn't ending, and that old Mr. Renard started looking at me funny. Then 1945 came, and the war ended. Papa and Linus came home, and I thought all was over and safe, but then Korea started up. At that time, I was old enough to go and fight, but I couldn't. 4F, on account of my arm. All the other boys left but me. Mr. Renard kept looking at me funny, and the rest of all the grown-up extras got extra sweet on me. I got the scent of the wind. I knew I had to get out of there. I let out for the west and never went back. I've kept an eye out. I know that little village's soldiers never came back, never come home dead. It's ones who stay who are in danger. I don't know who they give him instead every year now, but they didn't get me. They'll never get me. Raggedy Bill can't have me.
It's here that one of the orderlies noticed that A was getting agitated. He was no longer speaking quietly. They came over and told us it was time to leave. As we did, A continued to shout as they escorted him out of the room.
I can see the fireflies outside my window every Halloween night. I can hear the swamp water dripping as I try to get to sleep, but it ain't gonna work. They can keep giving Raggedy Bill his due, but it ain't gonna be me. It ain't gonna be me.
This is where our record of the conversation ends. As we left the facility and went to our car, we noticed in the gathering twilight that 3 or 4 fireflies were lingering outside one ground floor window, hovering over a small puddle of water.
Ooh. Ooh.
I love that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was great.
Yeah. Oh, that's creepy. I love that there's really no explanation for any of it. There's enough that you can infer some stuff, but I appreciate the unreliable narrator. I appreciate the folktale quality of this.
Yeah.
You know? This is a great folk horror.
Really well written, really well assembled. Raggedy Bill is so sparsely described, but so very easily conjurable in the mind.
Mm-hmm. Nothing more universally creepy and effective in, I think, a folk horror thing, if done right, than a scarecrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the reasons why scarecrows work as horror monsters. Like everything has gone to the scarecrow. Well, Doctor Who did it. Batman has the scarecrow, as you and I have discussed many times.
Batman has gone to the scarecrow.
Batman has gone to that scarecrow. Well,
you and I have both gone to the scarecrow.
Yes, the scarecrow is our friend. The scarecrow is our buddy, our pal.
I just briefly, I've told the story. And you know that story, but I might have told the story on the podcast before. But my first encounter with Dino was that he recognized my cosplay, said he was a Haunted Mansion fan. He told me to come visit his booth. I look at the booth and I go, "No way, you're the scarecrow." And he just looked at me and did the "You're in my world now, Batman."
Yeah, I think you have told me that story, but I've seen him because I've shared booths with him at Comic-Con and other events. So I've seen him do that voice at people. Like when people who are very clearly enthusiastic about Arkham Asylum, and he has them turn away from him, and he'll get it right up to their ear and say it, and you can watch them immediately shiver. It's such a sight to behold.
That's so good. But yeah, I mean, to your point, everybody can appreciate a good scarecrow, and scarecrows will end up in everything at some point. Scarecrows all the way down.
Scarecrows all the way down.
My favorite John Green novel, Scarecrows all the way down.
And I think this does a really good job of, again, I like the build up. I know we talked about it during the middle of reading, but kind of with a story like this, you know that it's kind of, you anticipate that it's building towards something that is creepy, and the scarecrow on its own is creepy, but on its own it's not enough. And the idea of it kind of slowly pulling people down, in like, and the fact that the village people kind of offer these sacrifices, and that kind of that cold, quiet silence of that moment. It's so evocative. It is such a as an image. You and I were talking about Monkey Island before, and it's hard not to imagine venturing deep into the forest of Monkey Island, that maze area where you have to find Carla. And kind of the blacks and the blues and the fireflies and kind of that's kind of the visual that was in my head through it all. It's just very creepy, very unsettling, and in a wonderfully crafted way.
Was it weird? I was thinking about this too. Was it weird that I could kind of hear that music from the forest section as I'm like picturing him moving into the swamp?
No, I get it. I mean, I wasn't. I was in my head. I was hearing like the crickets and fireflies, and then as they were going further into the swamp, as he said that there were no fireflies. Like that's when the insects and the wildlife just kind of fell away. And in my mind, I was hearing kind of the rustling of the trees and the kind of the I could feel like the damp of the swamp and the wet of the mud underfoot. And it was such an evocative description. Just the word choices just really effective in kind of building that story. And I think the one place where I think it potentially falls down is, I think, in that anticipation is in, because the format of the story means that you're building towards something, so there is that expectation. But it is
very easily a little bit.
Yeah, but also that's baked into the format, the structure, and I think that's something that I wasn't disappointed by the reveal. Like I wasn't disappointed when we got to the thing. It was very, very creepy, very evocative. I was fascinated by that build up, and especially by the ending as well, where you've got the puddle outside, and you've got the fireflies, and it makes me wonder how long has this man been running from Raggedy Bill, and how long has does this happen every Halloween, every night? Does this puddle occur? Is it because he's finally been found? Did he speak too loud? Did he summon Raggedy Bill by talking about it?
And also, is this not also kind of in its own way a criticism of the fact that we are in constant war thanks to the military-industrial complex?
Yeah. Seriously. Like when Raggedy Bill was saying, "As long as your boys are at war," and it's like the majority of American history, the country is 250 some. I don't know how old America is as a country.
We're coming up actually next year, 250th. Year since the signing of the Declaration. That's going to be a crazy 4th of July.
Years, and about 220 of that, if not more, has been spent at war with some other country or with itself.
Yeah.
What a country. What a part of the world to be living in.
Yeah. I mean, what's the line? Look, don't blame me. I just live here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck in this hellscape. Anyway, but seriously, on it, I think that's an interesting thing to like work in as a subtext too. Is just the idea this is going to keep going too. It's like, and the fact that they would continue to, at least in this old man's mind, they continue to gun for him at 96.
Yeah,
because there's a possibility that they might be able to use him to appease Raggedy Bill.
I mean, my thought about it was because he ran from Raggedy Bill. Like they had already, the villagers had already started sizing him up and kind of thinking about him as the next sacrifice. And
right.
He ran. So they had no one to sacrifice that year. So my thought is that they had earmarked him for sacrifice. They weren't able to sacrifice him. Raggedy Bill is coming after him. He's the one that got away. That was my approach. It wasn't the villagers finding him and like leaving a puddle outside. It was Raggedy Bill like through the earth, through the soil.
Right. Okay, yeah. That's that thing. And like and makes you wonder what happened in that village. Like if they couldn't pay their due that night, are they now going to start losing people? Are they going to
Did they
start
lose
losing
someone that year? Like,
yeah.
like,
Are they? Are people gonna? Are they gonna start getting? Are they gonna start getting letters? Are they gonna start getting people showing up saying, "Yeah, your son, your daughter, depending on later in time, didn't make it back." Like that's if that was all that was protecting some of these people, this like weird scarecrow good luck charm. Then
yeah,
it's that whole "do you sacrifice one for the good of the many" thing too. So,
but it's also the cold, calm way in which the villagers sacrifice one of their own.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, for me, there is, as someone who is, I'm queer and I'm disabled and I'm an immigrant, and
you're a triple threat.
I'm a triple threat, and living at that intersection, like people have always treated me differently as a result of all three of those things, separately and collectively, and the way that, particularly during COVID, I think the way that people thought of the disabled as disposable, the way people were talking about COVID as, well, the only people who are going to die are people who are already not well anyway. It's like, well, so they deserve to die? Like, what the hell does that? What the hell is that supposed to mean? And that's the idea. Like this community have decided that the for want of a better term, the sick and the lame are worth sacrificing so that their good boys out at war, their able-bodied soldier men, don't die. Like, they're still losing people in the village, but it's worse because it's not they went off to war and they died tragically. It is we are sacrificing our own, and these are the people we like. That's Raggedy Bill is not the monster in this story.
No, exactly.
100%.
Raggedy Bill's just a catalyst. Like Raggedy Bill is just something. It's the villagers. It's the people who have agreed to do this. The grown-ups. They're the ones who are subjecting people. And that, this is such for as short as it is, which is great. It doesn't mince words. It is such a, and again, the fact that this is all being translated from, we got we've got the framing, and then we got the story from a first person, and it's in this kind of pseudo script format. Like this is so cool.
It is perfect. It's fantastic. I really like this story. I like that there is so much to talk about with this story. It is very evocative. It is saying a lot, which is what the best. Did you see there was that horror zine that's taking, I forget the name of the zine, that is taking submissions, but they very specifically said they don't want anything political, they don't want anything sexual, they don't want anything, it's like, well, so that's horror then. That's horror. Nothing with a message. Anything with a message, you don't want that. That horror has horror has a message. Even horror stories with a conservative message, like Friday the 13th. And a lot of horror has particularly horror from like the 70s and the 80s has a very conservative message, but horror is about something.
Yeah, horror has always been subversive too. That's the whole point. Horror has something to say, and usually it's using horror in order to translate the real horror of certain situations. I mean, come on, look at stuff recently. I just recently watched Weapons, and I'm looking at that and understanding the subtext of that and going, oh yeah, you can read a lot into this about the real life horror that could be behind the scenes of a lot of this and what it's trying to say about that. Or you look at and you think about other recent horror. Look at I saw the TV Glow, or this.
God, I saw that. I have not been able to stop thinking about. I saw the TV. I watched it for the first time earlier this year. Mandy suggested we watch it, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. What a brilliant movie! What a perfect piece of queer horror! It is just a perfect movie. It is sensational. I love that film so much. Well, we also this year Mandy played through Silent Hill F.
God,
Silent Hill F is so good, and it is definitely a game that rewards multiple playthroughs because it has like a new game plus mode and a new game plus. If you just play through the game once, you do not get the full story, and it can be a little bit confusing. If you play through it a second time and a third time, more about the world and the story and the characters is revealed to you. Entire cutscenes are different if you replay the game. Entire locations are different if you replay the game. And it was so, watching that story unfold and realizing what that story was about. And I don't want to, because Silent Hill F came out very recently, and maybe there are people listening who want to play it for Halloween. I don't want to spoil it, but like discovering what that story was about was, dear God, like what a brilliant game. Like it is a Silent Hill game that upholds the tradition in the sense of Silent Hill 2, where it is not about the city of Silent Hill or the cult or the townspeople, but it is about a person and their anxieties and their fears and the repercussions of their actions, but in very, very different ways. Silent Hill F the story is masterfully assembled. It is such a phenomenal piece of horror. It is so good.
I haven't had a chance to play it or even see much of it, but I've absolutely take your word for it. And I've seen a lot of people praising it, so like it's definitely one I want to look into. And actually hearing that from you makes me feel more compelled, like, to look into it. So
please do, yeah. Like for me, in terms of like my top 3 Silent Hill games are in no particular order: 1, 2, and F. Like, I think those are the top 3. I love those games. The Silent Hill games where they focus on the cult and the town are the ones I'm not interested in, which puts me at odds with a lot of the Silent Hill fandom because they want more of the cult stuff. They want more of the stuff about the town. There are people who don't like Silent Hill F because it takes place in a village in Japan and not in the town of Silent Hill.
Honestly, cold stuff. I'm sorry, cold stuff's been done to death. It's like, if you don't do it right, some people can earn it, but some people just don't write cults very well, and it just comes off as like tired satanic panic kind of stuff. Yeah. And I applaud anybody who can like move something away from that, and that is okay by me. That it has not, because the best stuff in my opinion with Silent Hill has very little to do with any of the stuff that was set up in the first game. So
for sure, 100%.
This is why Silent Hill 2. This is why Silent Hill 2 is regarded as the best, because it's not about that. It's about James and about guilt and about existential, like it's just so good.
But it's wild to me because Silent Hill 3 was made as a response to criticism of Silent Hill 2 not being a direct sequel to the first game. That's why Silent Hill 3 is a direct sequel to Silent Hill 1, and that's why other games like Silent Hill Origins and Shattered Memories kind of play more with the cult lore. Whereas the games that are less part of that cult lore, I think it's been a long time. I never played Silent Hill 4 because it got bad reviews, and at the time I was definitely, well, if it's got a bad review, it's a bad game, and that's clearly not how it works. But Silent Hill 4, I think, kind of straddles the line between being about something unique, but also having some ties to the cult stuff. And Silent Hill 2, the remake alludes to the cult stuff without making the story about it. But some of my favorite survival horror games, like Silent Hill F, is I watched Mandy play it. I have not played it myself yet, and I do need to do that. Yeah, it's up there for me. Like, and it sets it, the way that it plays with expectations and the imagery of that game. And it's about something, which again is the best horror is about stuff, is kind of the point we were getting at. This story is about something.
Exactly.
Halloween is about something. Friday the 13th is about something. You know, these are all of these stories. Good horror should be about something. And if you try to make horror that is just scary without it being about something, you're not. That's
some of the terrible creepypasta that we've read on this show.
Yeah, you end up with Doom 3, which is just jump scares. It's not about anything.
Right. That's how you end up with like. Unfortunately, the kind of vapid icon horror that existed in the earlier days, and you've been on this show enough to know that we have read some real bottom of the barrel stuff, but with creepypasta being unfortunately in some ways, unfortunately in others, kind of a dead genre now, it's so nice when we get people who are legitimately want to share their work with us and get their feedback. And honestly, Dartmouth and Friends killed it again with this one.
This is such a good story.
It is
interesting. Obviously, you're more plugged into the world of creepypasta than I am, and it's interesting that creepypasta has kind of gone the way of the dodo. But it is interesting that there is a certain amount of analog horror that has popped up, kind of in its place.
It's kind of the next step. It's kind of the evolutionary follow up, because now you've got people building up on things that only have been hinted about, and you've got a lot of people doing indie games, and you've got a lot of people doing. Following up on that. And I feel like we moved from that to kind of this other era of indie horror where, and I'm not quite sure how to pin it down yet, but you look at people who are building scads upon scads of lore for something as originally as simple and maybe not needing to be over-explained, like the back rooms and things like that.
Oh, the back rooms annoys me so much because conceptually it's so good.
Yeah.
And the original like stories and then the way that people have kind of extrapolated data points from those stories frustrates me because one of the things
it's taking away the wrong thing from it. You're building a mythos, but by doing so you're overstuffing this thing.
Yeah,
so,
but one of the things about the backrooms when people do stories or video games set in the backrooms, like one of the a common healing item is almond water because one of the earliest backroom stories mentions this kind of pervading smell of almonds, and that's cyanide smells like almonds.
Yeah, you're taking the wrong thing away from it.
You're taking entirely the wrong thing, and that's why I think one of the reasons I've always loved the SCP project is because it is a little bit moderated. It is a little bit more managed and controlled. And, there are people who don't like that because it is a little bit more rigid as opposed to something that's a little bit more open-ended, like the Backrooms is. People kind of build on the mythology of that. But the problem is when everyone can build on the mythology of it, anyone can add to it or take away from it or change it. And without oversight, you end up with something like almond water is a healing item in the background. It's such a silly thing. Whereas
it really is.
The SCP project is not 100% cohesive with itself, but it's interesting. And the scary stuff is genuinely scary. The funny stuff is genuinely funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's seldom disappointing. It's sometimes disappointing. I'm sure that you've read an SCP article where you think, "Oh, okay, this didn't really do it for me."
Right, but that's the joy of it. You've got a lot of you got a lot of different people contributing something, and there's at least some curation with the process of selecting what goes there.
Yeah,
I want to real quick just again thank Dartmouth and friends because this is the kind of stuff that helps prompt discussion. So I appreciate that it's got us kind of going down this long route.
Marvelous.
So in terms of freshness ratings, I'm going to give this story 96 years of fleeing Raggedy Bill out of 3 fireflies over a puddle.
I'll take that.
Hey, we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's a good score. I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining me for this. This was an incredible discussion, and I enjoyed reading this with you. And once again, I know we clearly didn't talk about it enough, but come Halloween, definitely go check out Jump Lead Season 2. And before that, maybe give a listen to Jump Lead Season 1. I will make sure those are linked in the descriptions wherever you listen to this.
Please do. Please check it out.
And if you enjoyed what we do here, I mean, heck, we've mentioned it a couple times, but we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/creative horror. You want to go there and support the website, support our shows. Well, right now, really singular show, but Jameson Tapes is will happen when it happens. Undercooked Analysis is still going, but we have plans for some new stuff. We announced some of it during the live stream we did a little bit ago where we wrapped up all our ultimate discussion of Dr. Satan, but we've got some really, really cool things on the horizon next year. And we are still kind of working things out. And I appreciate everyone's patience with us as we continue to try and find ways to keep this going. Again, big thanks to Dartmouth and friends for being willing to share Raggedy Bill with us. So much fun. And hopefully, hopefully, I know you were looking for feedback. Hopefully this is good feedback, but honestly, just big ups from me for this story.
Yeah. This was absolutely sensational.
Yeah. Anyway, before either of us channels the spirit of John Hurt again and hurts our voices, well, you, John Hurt, and me, kind of an old Southern guy. I think we should. I mean, really, it's like Halloween costumes in a way, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was what I was going to be.
Who are you for Halloween? I was John Hurt on a podcast, and it hurt my throat to do it.
That's an interesting costume to don.
Interesting costume to John.
Oh no.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Happy
Listen
Halloween.
To Jump Leads.
Do it.
Good evening, intrepid listeners. This is the Pasta Shade, the host of Midnight Marinara, and this podcast is part of CreativeHorror.com, a network of podcasts and creators working together to build a constructive community of horror fans. For more content like this, visit us at CreativeHorror.com.